Hey, this is Brett the Hitman Hart, and you're listening to the Smacked Raw podcast.
What? Okay, well, has this always been a thing? Where have I been?
How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the Smacked Raw podcast, Friday night SmackDown Royal Rumble Go Home Show edition. We are your hosts, Kyle Tyson, and then joining me from putting you over the check your temperature, right? Segments.
The CYT guru?
Yes. Bama Dave. Do I call you Bama? Do I call you Dave? Do I call you David?
You can call me Bama or Dave or David, but either way, roll tide.
All right. I'm going to go with Bama tonight, man. That's
fine,
how
man.
I've always referred to you.
That's fine.
Bama, thank you for jumping in on here with me.
Absolutely. Well wishes to RN. I got a tweet from him, or I messaged him earlier going, missed you on Unpopular Wrestling Opinion. He's like, dude, I got stuck in an airport for 8 hours. I'm like, well, that sucks.
Yeah.
I can't imagine.
Speaking of Unpopular Wrestling Opinions, what a show we had last night.
Oh, dude, y'all killed it. That was awesome.
Yeah. Big thank you to Travis from Creation World, Kenny, of course, from McKenny for your thoughts, and then Matt Vertigo. Big thank you to those guys. If you haven't seen it already, head over to our YouTube page.
Yes, please do.
Yeah, youtube.com/SmackDown podcast. Check out the show. It was fantastic. It's up there for the best. It's definitely in contention now for the best episode of UWO that I've shot.
So yeah, watch the whole playlist. Every single one of those videos is must watch. It really is,
man. I
Absolutely.
really appreciate that.
Because y'all handle it with grace. Y'all don't rant. Y'all don't, put people down. You just take the information on the tweet and go, look, is this something we can actually agree on, or is this something that just everybody ignore? And I think that's good for the wrestling community as a whole, because I think we believe way too much negativity right now.
Yeah. Another channel you should subscribe to is this channel, twitch.tv/putting you over. Go ahead, hit that like, follow, even sub button, man. We're streaming on here 6 days a week between the SmackDraw crew and then, of course, Streamer and his show, Putting You Over, pretty much almost every day of the week except Sundays, unless it's a pay-per-view.
Yeah, he and Vanessa do a great job.
Yeah, man. So that means this week, because of Royal Rumble, that means Putting You Over runs 7 days a week.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Lastly, head on over to WrestlingNewsWorld.com. Bookmark that page. Because as much as we like to watch videos and live content and stuff, it's good that we read up on our pro wrestling as well. WrestlingNewsWorld.com is full of a lot of talented writers over there, giving you thought pieces, hot takes, interviews, recaps. They're gracious enough to include our podcast as the official recap show of the website. So definitely show them some love and maybe even check out their premium section. And
awesome.
Finally, the last thing I'm going to plug, patreon.com/SmackDraw podcast. Going back to the Unpopular Wrestling Opinions, once you watch the show and you realize how fantastic it is, one of the perks we have on Patreon is on the DDT tier, you can record yourself giving an unpopular wrestling opinion, and we'll go ahead, feature it on the show. We'll debate it. It's all in good fun. We might agree with it. We might yeet it off the show, but it's all in good fun. So definitely check that out too. Patreon.com/SmackDraw podcast. All right, Bama. We're here to talk SmackDown, the go-home show.
Absolutely.
SmackDown. I think we can agree this was a freak show. Like,
I really almost tweeted, did they hire Vince Russo back for one night?
Yeah. It feels wrong to judge this on it's good or bad. This was just one long... one long advertisement for Royal Rumble, which it should be. Royal Rumble's 2 days away.
Exactly.
So no huge story beats, just a lot of hype. Depending on how you look at our main event, air quotes, it was either a lot of fun or you hated it.
Right.
One thing I forgot about, the quarterly brand-to-brand invitational return tonight.
Yeah.
We saw two big returns, the brand-to-brand invitational and Braun Strowman.
Yeah, we should. I was about to say there was a number of Raw superstars that decided to use that invitational to take advantage and come over tonight. Yeah, the first time they did that was back around Money in the Bank when Baron Corbin came over to wrestle Drew McIntyre, and that weekend Charlotte came over to wrestle Bayley. And then the second time I think it happened was around Survivor Series when the two brands started, setting that up, and now we're in Rumble season, so it's only natural they do it again.
Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to think kayfabe-wise. Yeah. Why you would bother showing up. You're trying to rest up for a Royal Rumble, a grueling match. Especially if you went too early. Why would you go to SmackDown 2 days prior? I mean, AJ said I guess it's a warm-up for him, although he's just been wrestling nonstop. And then
he's got a weird definition of a warm-up. Why don't you wrestle, I don't know, like Umberto? Or you're gonna go in there with the Iron Horse wrestler of the decade, arguably Daniel Bryan? Really?
Yeah, man. It was some weird logic, but once again, it's a freak show. Tonight wasn't meant to be logical or like huge story driven. It was all just look at all our cool players that are going to be at the pay-per-view.
Speaking of, is there, and maybe some of the chat knows, is there any clue at all whether or not Omos is in this?
I think he'll be a surprise entrant. I do think he'll be in the Rumble. I think he'll be a surprise entrant. So the way I see it playing out is I watched, if you haven't already, check out Parts Fun Known. Adam Blompied is a fantastic mind for pro wrestling, and he did a fantasy booking of the Royal Rumble, but I believe one thing that he did fantasy book will play out, and that's almost being on outside of the ring, constantly saving AJ Styles.
Yes.
Only to later in the match enter the Rumble itself. And so I do believe that's what's going to take place at the Rumble.
That would be great.
Yeah. AJ gets tossed out the ring like 4 or 5 times, almost just catching him left and right, throwing him back in. Yeah. All right, let's kick off the show. We started off the show with Daniel Bryan once again describing what the Royal Rumble is and its significance. Nothing really big here. He does drive home the fact that he's never won it himself. This is looking like his last full-time run. How special would it be if Daniel Bryan can bring it home? He's by far the largest babyface that commentary is investing into the story. Whether it be true or a red herring, we'll have to wait and see.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What are your feelings on that? Like, are you deep down in your heart of hearts kind of wanting to see him win this?
To be honest, like, I don't have anybody that I really want to see win because you have Drew and Goldberg like wrapped up in this weird thing. Now, granted, you could build a feud. You can build a feud. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it can't be done.
Absolutely.
But this is the first time where it's like the winner of the Rumble is just going to have a weird matchup. You either face the winner of Drew and Goldberg, which is going to probably be awkward, or the more likely outcome, you're going to face Roman, in which you probably have a 5% at best chance of winning at WrestleMania, because Roman's holding on to that belt minimum SummerSlam.
I'm holding on to a 5% chance we might see a Kevin Owens victory on Sunday.
I wouldn't even put it at that.
That's why I said 5%. But we'll get to that in a minute. But man, wow.
Yeah, only way that's happening is if Roman slips on a banana peel and gives himself like a shoot concussion and is knocked out. And even then, KO would probably lay down under him or something. I don't know.
Good point.
Yeah. So yeah, it's weird. This is the first time where the men's Rumble winner, it's like it's a difficult task because even after they win, man, you're gonna go through hell no matter which way you go.
Yeah.
But if I was to book a winner, in my mind, we had baby faces honestly the last several years.
Yeah.
So I'll leave who I think is going to win for the predictions video, which, by the way, if you're watching this on YouTube, it should be already up. Check it out. But I would say babyface wise, yeah, I'd say Daniel Bryan.
And tomorrow night we're doing Check Your Temperature. I'm putting you over, where I'm going to be naming who I think's going to win, who I want to win, and my sleeper pick. And all of us on Check Your Temperature are going to be doing the same. So yeah, I'm laying out no picks tonight for me.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, babyface wise, probably Daniel Bryan. I know Big E's in there, but the thing is like, I think Big E needs a longer IC title run before he bumps up to trying to take Roman. Because at this point, if you gave him Roman right away, he's just going to be fed and chewed up and spit out.
Let's say, and we talked about it. He is working with all the. I mean, we'll get to the main event here in a little bit. I don't want to spoil it, but there's a reason that you're saying those things, and there's a reason 2 weeks ago we said that he's probably no longer a favorite because of the work he's doing right now within those guys he was working with tonight.
Yeah, you have the whole IC division built around him right now. Like,
exactly.
He's a cornerstone of the intercontinental scene. So
right.
During Daniel's promo, AJ Styles comes out. This is the debut of the quarterly brain-to-brain invitation. I don't know if you spotted this, but Almost is sporting like a head wound on his forehead.
Yeah.
Out there. Now, reports have it that today there was a 6-hour Royal Rumble rehearsal. So I wonder if Almost got injured or got hurt. You know, that's the only thing I can think of. Either that or the dude walked into a house and just like scraped his head across the ceiling because the dude's way too tall.
See, the kayfabe in me wishes now I didn't know that. I'm old school. I get made fun of it. Streamer and Vanessa give me a hard time all the time when I come on the show. If you said, David, what's the one thing you would do to make wrestling better? I would reestablish kayfabe right now. Yeah. I really would. I don't read spoilers. I don't read behind the scenes stuff if I can help it. The only thing I really look for is, is this person injured? Is that why I haven't seen them in a week or two? That kind of thing. I don't. No, dude, other than that, I don't.
I'm watching wrestling news videos multiple times
I can't do it.
Single day.
I love the magic. I don't want to know. I want to be surprised. So,
I hear you.
Yeah.
Now the only news that I try to actively avoid is betting odds. Betting odds are huge spoilers.
Yeah, for sure.
Most of the time they are right.
For sure.
Katie in the chat says predictions are not on YouTube yet. I said, okay, so let me rephrase that. Like I said, if you're watching this on YouTube, predictions are already up, meaning this show is already posted. It's Saturday. Well, yeah.
Katie's in the future already.
I'm already in the future, Katie. Thank you. Or in the present, depending when you're watching this.
Yep.
Anyways, I'm stupid.
Getting back to what you were talking about with AJ, though, are you sensing what I'm sensing from like the way he's been acting a little bit the last month or so on Raw? Are they dipping their toe in the water to possibly turn him face soon?
Turn him face? I don't know.
Because heel AJ would not come out and accept a match with Daniel Bryan unless Daniel Bryan goaded him into accepting the match.
What I'm saying is tonight wasn't about making sense.
I guess so.
Yeah, tonight, it's definitely not about making sense. They just needed to have bodies and showcase them. Mm-hmm. So no, I don't think they're turning him face.
Okay,
he's doing too awesome with Almost. Like
he really is.
You can't have a baby face with Almost towering over. No. So next up, we had a match between Bianca Belair and Bayley. To a huge surprise, Bianca Belair wins clean as a whistle.
Loved it.
Yes. Story of the match was Bayley working over Bianca's arm. Bianca was able to overcome the odds. She still hit the KOD in the end. She has an interview at the top of the ramp, gives a very impassioned promo.
Yes.
Essentially putting over, this is the biggest win of her career. She put over how special Bayley is as an opponent to beat, considering Bayley's historic title reign, which I think is great because it wasn't that long ago. Bayley was on like a six loss streak or something.
Right.
So yeah, huge props to Bianca. Next up, Royal Rumble. What'd you think of this, Bama?
Bianca has been, she's been a star from the moment she first came out on the ramp in NXT. The girl is so charismatic and has such a great look. She makes her own gear. If you have not gone on the WWE Network to watch her Chronicle that just released this past week, I encourage you to go do that. It's a great story. But I cannot say enough how much I love watching her. She's so athletic. And what I love is that she, alongside Charlotte, has such a command of her athletic ability. She can do things with her body and do them in such a controlled, powerful way that it looks so easy. It looks fluid. It looks like a kid playing in the ring. It is so crazy how talented she is athletically. And then what I was really watching tonight, because I already know how good she is in the ring, so what I was watching her tonight is her selling Bayley's offense and the registering and how Bayley was working with her. And sometimes when you see a rookie working with a veteran, the veteran like leans over a lot or does a lot of holds or does a lot of holding them in the corner or something because they're talking a lot. Mm-hmm. There were not a lot of those moments tonight. They were just going tit for tat, move for move, and offense for offense, and that just encouraged me that Bianca's getting it, and she's getting it a lot quicker than the average person that comes up to the main roster does. So big, bright in her future. I love the promo at the end. How often do they do a promo at the top of the ramp where the person you just beat is in the ring and the camera's going back and forth between the two faces? That doesn't happen. I love that. That was really, really cool.
It was very, very good. Definitely gave more of a sports feel to it.
For sure.
Yeah, I love Bianca. I think the woman has all the potential in the world to be just carry the women's division on her back like she carried Otis last week. So I am on that Bianca train, giggity. So
absolutely,
let's see where it goes. Big hopes for the Rumble for her.
For sure.
So next up, currently spinning their wheels is this Dominik and Rey feud with Corbin. We've touched on this before. We believe they're building towards something. I think tonight was just keeping the feud in mind. There was some sloppy spots in the middle. It looked like Dominik and Corbin kept going for very similar spots where it was like reversing hurricanranas and tilt-a-whirls in the center of the ring. And then after about the second or third one, they started to fall apart a little bit. There was a scary moment where Dominik was supposed to take a back body drop into the corner. And the positioning was way off. He kind of landed on the ropes. Luckily, the way he fell, he didn't fall on his head.
Thank God. That was scary.
Yeah, even Rey looked
yeah, for sure.
Big
that's
shot.
That's when he jumped out of his chair and ran to the ring for a second. It's funny when you watch Dominik is, and maybe this is something that I just feel weird. Dominik to me is trying to do too much what his dad does. I think that Dominik is not Rey Mysterio is 5'5", 160 something pounds. Dominik is, 6'1".
He's got to be between 6 and 6'2".
Yes, between 6 and 6'2", maybe right at the 190 or close to the 200 mark. But he's trying to do the springboard bulldog and the hurricane rana, and where you jump and you put your legs around the guy's waist and you raise up. He's trying to do all of his dad's moves at his height, at his weight, with a guy that's 7 inches taller than him. So to me, there's so many moments where I'm like, Dominik, your body type is not going to react and do the same things your dad does, because number one, you're not as fast as him. Number two, you're not as small as him. So I felt like it was. I don't know if it's an identity thing or a pressure thing from the people above him, or maybe even just trying to pay homage to his dad too early. But I don't feel Dominik needs to be a mirror image of his dad. I think Dominik needs to, discover maybe a submission or a different kind of finisher or whatever. I don't want Dominik to be Rey Mysterio's son. I want Dominik to be Dominik. And I just don't know. I mean, are you feeling that too, that maybe he's trying to be too much and do too much that Rey's doing?
Not right now. Right now, I think it makes perfect sense. He's in his rookie year.
Right.
His identity right now is Rey Mysterio's son.
Right.
But the
I just don't want him to get hurt trying to be his dad. That's all.
No. Granted, yeah. When it all comes down to it, we don't want him to get injured. But what I mean is like, it's his rookie year. He's gonna come out. He's gonna be Rey's son. But the kid has got barring he doesn't ever get like any serious injuries, or something like outside interference in his career, the kid's got a long career ahead of him.
Oh, he's superstar in the making.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, this is a very obvious first step into his own career, is being Ray's boy and doing Ray's moves. Right. You're absolutely correct. He's got to break out. He's got to come back and, build his own moveset that's unique to him, and then also his body type. But all of that's going to come through phases in his career. I think
it's not by. Go ahead. No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say, as far as his in-ring career, we're still very early into phase 1, and I think it makes all the sense in the world to have nothing unique to him, outside of maybe some of those arm drags he does. And then you know what I mean? Like once this whole story plays out where I'm Ray's boy and he turns heel for the first time, or Ray's taken off of TV, that's when you'll start seeing Dominik find his own way. But right now, while Ray's accompanying him, I'm cool with. I'm just happy that we're done seeing Angie and Aaliyah.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
For sure. Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I mean, and if you're gonna have a first feud, honestly, you couldn't have picked a better guy, because Corbin is, in a great way, safe in the ring. He's such a smooth wrestler. Now, granted, tonight, the few of those bumps he tried with Dominik didn't look very safe. But there's so many wrestlers. Mark Henry even said it on Busted Open that he was in the ring with Corbin for a little bit, and he said it's amazing how much he cares about not injuring his opponent. And so, like, he really tries to make it as seamless as possible, but yet come off with that cutthroat Golden Glove attitude that he has. And something, I actually read a tweet before I came on with you, and it really shocked me. They're protecting the end of days very well. No one kicks out of that thing, and I love that.
Yeah, I'm kind of just jealous that he has both the Deep Six and End of Days.
Oh, that Deep Six is so beautiful.
That's what I'm saying. I
love that move.
Yeah, that could be someone else's thing. But yeah, no, I completely agree with you. I completely agree. But anyways, yeah, Dominik loses. Not much happens here. Dominik does lose, succumbs to the end of days. Ray is attacked by Corbin, but gets the upper hand and closes out this segment. We'll probably see a heater introduced to for Ray and Dominik, or Dominik probably start to take heelish tactics. They're going to take one or two ways. My money is on what me and RN have been betting, and bringing in Damian Priest as
Mr. Punishment Martinez.
Yeah, and to be the heater for the group.
Absolutely.
But we'll see. We'll have to wait and see until after the Rumble. They're really waiting. They're really trying to get the Rumble out of the way before they advance too many things.
Yeah, for sure.
Backstage light segment. Big E's jokingly trying to bribe Sonya Deville into giving him his number. He's got $1 in an Arby's card. Miz and Morrison debut. Essentially just, give Big E crap and give him a beatdown, setting up what appears to be a match later on. Following this,
while also threatening they could cash in on Roman. Don't miss that.
God, dude, that's why I don't even mention. That is so foolish.
Are you out of your freaking mind?
Dude, Roman could be prone on his back and stare fucking Miz down. Following this, for whatever reason, we see an interaction between Kalisto and Sasha Banks that was kind of awkward. Kalisto acting all lovey-dovey with her. Sasha Banks is approached by Reginald, the sommelier. Reginald is gifting her a bottle of wine from Carmella to go with her title loss at Royal Rumble. Sasha begins to flirt with Reginald and says, let's find a wine for Carmella to drink while she's got a broken jaw. It was a nice little thing. It was an okay segment. It's just setting up the match for
y'all have talked about it. I've talked about it. They're keeping Sasha as this boss character for the simple fact of if they need her to be a heel versus a potential Rumble winner, she can be.
Yeah,
and they're keeping her in this gray area. But the reason I don't like it is because Carmella is just a mirror version of her right now. And so
they very much are. Like the vibe Sasha was giving off in her promo sounded very Carmella-like, Carmella-esque. Yeah, they are very much one and the same, except Sasha's not a lush. That's the difference between them. You have a bougie lush and then a bougie, facing off with each other. That's about it.
Yeah, and no offense to Carmella, but one can wrestle circles around her. So
Carmella's not bad, man.
She's not bad, but I mean, I've gone on record to say if you ranked the women in the WWE right now, of course Charlotte's number one. Sasha's a close 2 or 3. She is extremely agile. What I love the most about her in the ring is she's a risk taker. She's not afraid to do a bump that most girls are afraid to do. She's not afraid to do this crazy corner spot or apron spot. Don't get me started on when she faced Asuka at Survivor Series and about broke her neck.
Yeah, I remember.
Oh my gosh! But then what I hate about it is, okay, that's the Sasha in the ring that I'll pay money to see. But then the moment she steps away and gets into boss character, it's like, I want to like you, but you're making it hard for me to like you. It's just
it's very conflict.
It really is.
Next up, Sammy tries to enlist Shinsuke's help, as part of the what was their alliance? They called themselves They
were the Collective Artists, or the Artist Collective.
The Artist Collective, yeah.
Yeah.
Essentially goes on this very self-righteous rant about how everything Shinsuke's accomplished in the WWE, he owes thanks to Sami Zayn. Shinsuke does thank Sammy in the end, but tells him to go to hell politely. One thing that was odd about this is there's been no tells of Cesaro and Shinsuke going in opposite directions, other than they're just not being in the same scene. But that very much played out later in the night. So,
dude, how great is the work Sami Zayn's doing right now?
Man, I don't know. I mean, if anything, he's a good heel because I don't like his character. I've been going on record that I can't wait to see this mockumentary that when it finally gets produced in WWE, because WWE makes incredible video packages.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I definitely cannot wait to see that mockumentary come out. The thing about Zayn is I feel like he now granted he's got all the talent in the world, and I'm not knocking any bit of talent, but the Zayn I like is countering somebody. He's either in a tag team and he's countering off someone's personality, or he's in a good feud. Him just running around being, this delusional conspiracy theorist, it hasn't clicked with me too much. I love his matches, and I love when he was outsmarting his opponents in the match instead of using cheap heel tactics, like they were actually intelligent moves. But I don't know. I'm kind of apathetic towards it. It's not really moving me one way or another. I'm kind of just waiting for Sammy to get paired up with somebody again, whether it be a tag team or in another feud.
Or a feud he could sink into. I get your point. I just when I see someone who makes me react to them, whether positively or negatively, I then try to think to myself, if somebody else was doing this, would it work? If for instance, this is gonna be an obvious, easy answer, but if Apollo Crews tried to play this character, could he do it? No. And so that's what I'm thinking of is the way Sammy makes you want to laugh at him or yank the sign out of his hand and break it over his head. Just the way he brings those feelings in me when I see him on my screen just lets me know he's doing a good job. And I just really, I'm with you. The mockumentary is going to be absolutely must watch.
Yeah.
I am interested to see if they let him keep hanging around this Intercontinental Championship, or if he does get more into a polar opposite point of view person, which lately has been Daniel Bryan. But I don't know. I think correct me if I'm wrong, he and Bryan had a feud over the Intercontinental Championship right before WrestleMania last year.
They had a match at Mania.
Exactly.
Yeah, Zayn beat him at Mania for the title, or to retain the title.
Exactly.
I think I know what the problem is for me is Zayn's character is supposed to be annoying, and he is annoying. And like Roman's a heel to me because Roman does dastardly things, and I can't wait to see someone come up, against him.
Right.
Zayn just annoys me. Like
exactly.
So like it's like a weird line for me. Like I said, I'm not high on it. Also, my favorite version of Zayn is babyface. Like I love babyface Zayn. Like
no question. When I hear the name Sami Zayn, I think the guy that was against Kevin Owens. That's the first face I see when I think about him.
But you don't want to travel back in time. So I mean, I see what they're doing. Like I said, I see what they're doing. He's just not the most. His stuff just doesn't captivate me as much as other people, but at the end of the day, like I said, I don't hate it. There's other people I could definitely do without on my screen over Sammy for sure. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about this promo. We had a satellite style interview. Roman Reigns and Kevin Owens got very personal. Kevin got very emotional towards the end. Kevin Owens starts off strong in his feelings towards the match, says he already feels like a winner. At this point, when Roman starts inquiring about family, trying to get under Kevin's skin, the whole time Kevin Owens is telling him, just like, think about your next words. That kind of went on too many times. Roman got like 3 or 4 digs in, and you're still telling him to think about what he says next.
I thought the same thing.
It's like he's already going in on it. But Roman starts inquiring about Kevin Owens' father. What kind of man was he? Was he a smart man? Kevin Owens, of course, is defending his dad's honor. But he says, your dad didn't teach you your limitations. So obviously he couldn't have been smart. He makes some chess references, calls him a pawn to Roman being a king. And then says, I don't blame you for this. I blame your family. Once again, going after dad and granddad. Yeah. He says, you're a fool. To think you can win, which makes your father a fool, your grandfather a fool. What are they gonna, what would they think? And then he references that, when you do see your grandfather again, referencing, when you die, your grandfather is gonna call you a fool and say, why couldn't you declare him as your tribal chief? We did. Some very, very personal digs, especially following up Kevin's very impassioned promo from last week, which people thought was fantastic. So
well done, Paul Heyman.
Thought it worked, man. It tied a promo from last week into a promo this week. Kevin Owens, of course, finally reacts at the end. Roman just cuts his stream off. I love that his feed is controlled by a remote control.
The chief gets what he wants.
he's on one of those Facebook portals. Is
exactly.
What he is.
Exactly.
But no, man, it was good stuff. I saw some people say they didn't like it, which I was trying to figure out why not. I was like, it was an effective promo.
I think it was a couple of things, like you said. It felt like maybe I would have not even had the rehearse thing. I would have had Kevin interrupt and go, Roman, I'm telling you right now, don't go there.
Yeah.
Don't wait on him to finish and then say something. Interject right there, Roman. I'm telling you, don't do this. Just one of those, just one or two of those would have been fine. I said this to a couple of friends, whatever, that said, you know what, if this is just the masterful work that Paul Heyman and Roman are putting in front of us to show how deep a character this could be. And I keep thinking every time I see this stuff, if this had been happening in front of a live crowd, they would be ruining it. From the what chants to clapping for him, because finally, after all these years, he's the guy we want him to be. He's not being forced down our throats. He's not in the title picture. He's being a dastardly heel and a champion that we hate. And so, you know what? Great. We're going to cheer it. And I'm like, I'm glad that for all the terrible things the pandemic has done, we get to see Roman breathe confidently, just say what he wants to say, how he wants to say it. And it comes across so narcissistic and arrogant and pompous and
genuine
and exactly coming from a real place of, I know who I am in the Inoue family. I know who I am with my wife. I know who I am with my children. And just he comes from that place of that, and again, it's so hateable. You just want Kevin Owens to stun him 10 more times on Sunday. You want it so bad. I really tweeted after that segment was over, exact quotes, "I don't care what's supposed to happen. I want Kevin Owens to beat the living tar out of this guy on Sunday." And in all fairness, he's going to beat Roman really, really badly, but Roman's probably going to beat him a little bit more badly too.
Yeah, not along with this character that Roman's developed. Also, good call with the fans too. Like the stoic delivery of his promos, fans would crap on. They would chant the heck out of it just because it's so quiet and not overpowering a crowd.
Yes.
But going back to his character, not only has he built up, all of those things, those traits that you said, he's also built up an air of invincibility.
Yes,
like the man has come back overpowered. Like right now there's no chink in his armor. Not to mention, even if you do get a slight bit of momentum, he doesn't. He won't stop from low blowing you and taking cheap ways as overpowered as he is. So you take. It's like one way to look at this is like look at it like Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar was beating everybody clean. It was just Brock Lesnar would come out. He's a dominant beast. Now look at if Brock Lesnar also would be willing to resort to cheating.
Exactly.
And that's Roman's in-ring ability. He is so high up that's why it almost like feels like a stopgap at the Royal Rumble. Is you're like, dude, there's not even a chink in his armor yet. Like that has to be a story beat where somebody can finally poke a weakness out of Roman, and I really hope it's not some celebrity match. I really don't. Or like a throwback.
And even when you do find a weakness, here comes Jay, and probably after this Sunday, here comes Jimmy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
the dude seems unbeatable as it is right now. But yeah, all right, let's talk about this main event and we'll get out of here.
Okay.
Like I said, really breezy episode. So really quick, this match is a car crash. So it starts off with AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan, and I'm thinking we probably have 3 matches ahead, like maybe like a match or two in a segment, because we still have over a half hour left in the broadcast. We're I think like at 9:15, 9:20 on the East Coast.
Right. And I was starting to see tweets when everybody saw Daniel Bryan in the ring going, "Please let us have the full 45 minutes. Please let us have the full classic match." I'm like, it ain't gonna happen. It ain't gonna happen.
They're not gonna give you this pay-per-view quality match.
No. Why would they do that?
No. So AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan are having the match. Cesaro's on commentary. Early on into this match, Sami Zayn comes out. And then oddly enough, while this match is going on, Big E comes out with no explanation why he's even out there.
Right.
Big E attacks Sami Zayn. There starts to be a melee outside the ring. AJ Styles is put in front of that melee, and Daniel Bryan delivers a dive on top of everybody. So after the match makes his way back into the ring, Sami jumps Daniel Bryan, causing the DQ. Out comes Nakamura, and now we have 6 guys out there. This was fairly obvious what was happening.
Exactly.
We get a 6-man tag, notably Nakamura and Cesaro on opposite sides, which was pretty interesting.
And that was the moment you said you needed to see. Was right before commercial. They turned and looked at each other with fists up and like, wait a second, are we really about to do this?
Yeah.
And that's what we needed to see was, from now on, Cesaro and Nakamura are not a team anymore. They're not on the same side anymore.
At least going into the Royal Rumble, there might be. I still think there'll be like some closure to it, whether it be a backstage segment, just quickly like, what the hell? They can't get on the same page, and then that's it. I truly believe that they're going to feud with each other.
I was about to say, would you be opposed with the two of them going through Elimination Chamber or even Fastlane?
No,
absolutely. Let them go. Best of 7.
Yeah.
Best of 7. Yeah.
So Nakamura coming out. We kick off this 6-man tag. The 6-man tag's going on. noticeably starts with Cesaro and Nakamura, which was a nice touch. Cesaro also, I forget who he hit it on, but he did this really nice swing into, I can't remember if it was a clover leaf or a half crab, but he did a swing and then followed it up with a submission, which was a pretty nice little touch.
It was on Bryan.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
Afterwards, who was it that came out? Oh yeah, Miz and Morrison came out. They got the heels DQ'd again. At this point, Big E comes out. The match restarts yet again as a 10-man tag, which is Corey Graves later corrects is actually a 5-on-4 9-man tag.
Oh wait, no, Sheamus comes out.
Hold on now. Hold on. It is a 9-man tag, 5-on-4. As Daniel Bryan is laid out trying to tag somebody else in, all the heels jump all the faces on the apron, leaving Bryan outnumbered. At this point, Sheamus comes out.
You're right.
And I'm wondering, what are the rules? It's like, are you allowed to interfere in a match as long as you allow someone to tag you in?
No kidding.
Right. Sheamus gets involved in the match. Has a good back and forth. Him and Sami Zayn are who it comes down to. Sami Zayn is trying to line up a haluva kick and runs full blast into one of the nastiest bro kicks I've ever seen.
Oh man.
Yeah, allowing Sheamus to pick up the pin victory. At this point, the heels jump everybody, and then out comes the returning Braun Strowman, looking shredded. Like super villain Braun.
Don't glance over Otis's double caterpillar.
Oh yeah, Otis hit a double caterpillar on Miz and Morrison too. That was pretty nice. But yeah, just melee carnage. You got 11 guys out here, including the returning Braun Strowman. Right. They're obviously just giving the visual of the carnage that can take place in a Royal Rumble. And like I said, for SmackDown to literally just be like a 2-hour advertisement for the Royal Rumble, wasn't bad. I got really no complaints.
Yeah, we were missing a few key components, though. We didn't see Chad Gable. We didn't see Apollo Crews, which was interesting to me because he and Big E have been going back and forth for a month now. Again, we see the returning Braun Strowman, who's in arguably the best shape of his career. And I think it'll be interesting to see what presence he brings on Sunday. I'm looking right now at the Wikipedia page for this. There are 21 male entrants declared for the Royal Rumble. On the women's side, there's 13 declared, and also announced that tomorrow night on Backstage, in the middle of the show, there'll be a match between Tamina and Natalya, and the winner of that will become number 30 in the Women's Royal Rumble.
Natalya.
Of course.
Natalya. Tamina, I mean, dude, damn, really? Like, that's your 30? That's your number 30, Natalya and Tamina? It's a weird one.
It's a throwback to the 90s. When I remember, I'm watching a lot of the Monday Night Raws from before the Attitude Era through the Attitude Era because I was a WCW fan, so I missed most of it.
Yeah.
So I'm going back to kind of relive it and relive it. And in the 1996 Royal Rumble that HBK won before he went to WrestleMania 12, Triple H fought, who was it? In a match on Sunday Night Heat. And he lost, and so Triple H had to be number 1 in the Royal Rumble, and the other guy had to be number 30. So
that's a nice little stipulation.
So it's a nice little throwback to that. Now, also on Backstage, they will announce who is number 1 and who's number 2 in the men's Royal.
Yeah. Well, I'll have to see. I have to wait and see for sure. But that's our show, you guys. Drop in the comments what you thought about tonight's show. Once again, like I said, if you're watching this on YouTube, go ahead and check out our predictions episode over there. Katie, myself, and Kevin Crazy had a blast shooting it, and we actually got it knocked out in a reasonable amount of time for once. But really, that's it. Bama, where can people find you?
On Twitter, I'm at BamaDave24. Again, go to the Twitch for Putting You Over, subscribe, and like it and follow it. Every now and then, I come on and talk to Streamer and Vanessa. And like I said, tomorrow night, we're doing Check Your Temperature, where we go around the horn. We go through the entire Royal Rumble, and we go through every match. We ask each other, are we hot, cold, lukewarm on that match? And we talk about the picks and what we want to see happen tomorrow at the Royal Rumble. And I think tomorrow night, we're starting it at 9 Eastern time. And be right here on the Putting You Over channel. And I just enjoy talking with with awesome fans like you. Again, one of my key things I love to say to people is, everybody, wrestling fans, unite, don't fight. Let's make sure we support each other and encourage each other, because there's enough Meltzers in this world.
Awesome. Well said, my friend. Well said. So, yeah, everybody, thank you all for joining us once again. Make sure to tune in Sunday after the Royal Rumble, where we will be covering the recap, like always, here on Putting You Over. But until then, like always, you guys, y'all have a good one.
Roll Tide.